Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tamara and I will be your host for today's Buddies Stream webinar. Today we have designed a webinar to introduce and give you some insights on our self-storage ERP solution, SuiteSpaces. Please note that ERP Buddies is the only NetSuite solution provider to come up with this custom NetSuite solution for the self-storage industry, which makes us all very excited. Here at ERP Buddies, we focus on NetSuite implementation, serving a wide range of industries. In this webinar, we'll walk you through SuiteSpaces, a solution for the storage sector, which meets the challenges of modern storage businesses by providing complete visibility into everyday company operation, accounting, rental and customer status, and much more. Today, joining me, we have Nick Pearson, our SuiteSpaces expert here at ERP Buddies. He will cover topics such as what SuiteSpaces is, some of the key features and understandings of SuiteSpaces from a facility manager's point of view. And welcome, Nick. Thanks for making time out of your busy schedule to join us.
Hello, Tamara. Thank you for having me. Glad to be on here today.
All right, let's jump into our topic. So ERP Buddies developed this solution specifically for self-storage businesses. Now, what exactly is SuiteSpaces and why was it developed in the first place?
So SuiteSpaces was kind of put together based on the kind of changing demand in the self-storage industry today. It's an industry that we've identified to have a number of complex business challenges, such as, due to largely the global pandemic that's going on, customers nowadays are looking forward to having a much more modern way to rent and manage their storage units and be able to have constant access to their storage unit information and be able to kind of do any transactions that they need to and monitor any kind of payments that they need to. And kind of in line with this, they've always had a growing increase for a more user-friendly e-commerce website that will just give them kind of ease of access and ease of use in terms of being able to manage their rental unit, manage their time and their bookings with rental units, and be able to just kind of go through the process as seamlessly as possible. And on top of this, customers nowadays are becoming much more demanding in terms of having a personalized CRM experience, which isn't kind of a speciality of a lot of these legacy systems. And that's just from the customer side, that as to why SuiteSpaces was put together. From kind of the operations point of view, the facility managers are having an increased demand for a modern system to be able to manage their daily operations at a storage facility, to provide them with constant access to customer information, rental information, payment data, as well as anything about maintenance and financing. As well as this, a lot of these companies tend to be using multiple softwares. And so this is causing the company to have issues in terms of duplicate data entry or just misalignment of data altogether. And so it's very hard to kind of trust the data that they are seeing as they kind of produce the reports for their facility. On top of this, there's kind of just a lack of proper accounting management or lead management or CRM within a single kind of system. So what SuiteSpaces is doing is it's trying to address all of these points in one system through the NetSuite platform.
Okay. Yeah, so just to comment on that CRM aspect, in our time, customer service can certainly be the end all and be all of businesses. So it is crucial to meet a customer standard with e-commerce and online accessibility. So how does SuiteSpaces address these issues?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to combat these problems, here at ERP Buddies, we've come up with our SuiteSpaces solution. And it's a completely custom solution that we put together on NetSuite, which allows us to be able to really kind of manipulate it further if there's anything that needs to be taken into consideration or personalized more specifically towards a customer. But we've made it so that the SuiteSpaces solution just addresses every aspect of the self-storage business and helps to meet the company goals kind of more efficiently. So being able to serve these modern day customer styles and meet the demand for information, having that constant visibility of data at all times.
Okay, so Nick, just another quick question for you. I'm curious, are you aware of any other solutions that are similar to SuiteSpaces?
No, so ERP Buddies is the only NetSuite solution provider with a custom-built NetSuite solution for the self-storage industry at the moment.
Okay, that's what I thought, and that's really exciting. Exciting, and what excites us about SuiteSpaces. I don't think I ever have heard of a solution like this. But now, without further ado, let's just dive into understanding SuiteSpaces in detail. First, we'll look at some of the key features of SuiteSpaces, and then we'll look into how a facility manager handles their day-to-day operations in SuiteSpaces. So Nick, do you mind expanding on these features for our users?
Of course. So I think the first thing to identify with SuiteSpaces, which makes it quite unique to a lot of solutions on the market today, is the fact that it has the option to run along any side of business operations in the self-storage industry and integrate easily with any other solution that people are using. So this is important for people that want to get a full picture of their facility or their company with all the proper data being aligned correctly. And since the SuiteSpaces solution has been built internally, we can easily integrate it with any kind of third-party software or application or e-commerce website that people are looking to integrate it with. And so this just allows companies to kind of link all of their operational areas together. So whether it be using the native NetSuite accounting and CRM tools, or if you're trying to integrate it with an e-commerce functionality outside of NetSuite, we've made it so that SuiteSpaces just has that very strong kind of cross-system, cross-platform functionality to make sure all of the data is in sync and you have as streamlined of an experience as possible. On top of this, we've made it so that it really supports kind of having multi-storage facilities or multiple facilities across the globe, whether it's in multiple locations in the same country or multiple countries. The SuiteSpaces solution allows business owners to implement different management systems to handle all the operations. And so what you can do is be able to manage kind of the payment side, the rental side, your customer side, all in one solution together. And so with SuiteSpaces, you have the ability to just maintain all of your operations within a single software solution, which is kind of essential for not having to manage multiple systems, which is what we find a lot of people seem to be doing in the self-storage industry. And so this is kind of even more crucial, especially for those working in multiple countries, since the SuiteSpaces solution aligns or works in sync with the NetSuite One World.
Okay, yeah. So NetSuite One World, would you mind expanding on what that is?
Of course, yeah. So for those that are not kind of familiar with NetSuite One World, it's essentially a specialized module offered by NetSuite that allows enterprises to manage global operations across multiple locations and subsidiaries. And so One World provides you with having multiple subsidiaries that can run in multiple currencies and languages, as well as being able to provide kind of real-time data at a local or regional or even at a headquarter level to make sure that every level of management has access to the kind of important data, but all live. And so NetSuite One World as a whole is kind of just suited for facility owners that have multiple locations in various countries. So you can take advantage of the kind of tax management, any financial compliancy as well.
Okay, I see. That's really cool. I also heard that there's this cool interactive feature available with SuiteSpaces. So you just let me know if I got this right. Is it true that there will be, with SuiteSpaces, there will be a function where you can create color-coded interactive facility maps? So it would show the storage units in the facility, which the ones that are available and the ones that are rented out, or units that are soon to be vacated.
Yeah, that's completely true. Actually, it's one of the more flashy parts of our solution. So SuiteSpaces comes fully equipped with this drag and drop map. And so you can actually go into the map and just interact with it directly on the storage units themselves. And so there's a map kind of for each storage facility. So you can kind of put the facilities together in terms of the layout and how the rental units are kind of put together internally. And once that's put together beforehand, users then have the option to then, as you said, assign kind of a color coding functionality to it. So for example, what we've typically seen is that green is obviously for rental spaces that are available. Red is for ones that are currently being rented and used at the moment, and orange ones are kind of that intermediary phase of units that are about to be vacated or have been reserved. But this is kind of, as I said, it's our own solution, so we can completely modify or adjust the color scheme exactly according to how each company would like to see this legend on the map. These facility maps are all using real-time live data in the system, so they're constantly updated as you refresh the page, and so you will immediately have kind of up-to-date information, and it can actually be accessed either on the cell phone or on tablets as well as from the desktop.
So that's really cool and a really easy way to navigate a facility. So on the customer relationship management side, what can SuiteSpaces take care of?
Yeah, so on the customer relationships management side, there are hover cards to allow you to kind of track the customer information. And this is quite crucial in terms of the self-storage industry. Since you're dealing with a lot of individual units within one facility, it's important to be able to have kind of very quick access to core information, such as a preferred payment method or the move-in and move-out dates, as well as any kind of contact details of the customer. Being able to have that to hand is just essential for facility managers in all aspects of their business, whether it be dealing with just overall management, or if it's dealing with payments or support issues. So what SuiteSpaces does is it gives business owners the ability to manage their operations using a fairly intuitive functionality of having a hover card, so that when you literally hover your mouse over the top of a rental unit, it just comes up with a little card that just displays this information immediately. So it saves you from having to click through multiple levels of records to find maybe just the phone number of the customer if you just want to get in touch with them directly. But it does have the option to drill down if you do need to the final customer record to get the full breadth of information that it has on their record. Again, I can't stress this enough that this is a solution that we've made ourselves. So the options that come up on that hover card do not have to be, as I just previously mentioned, they can be whatever the user would like, whatever the company preference is to have there. But typically it does come along the line of move in, move out dates, as well as immediate kind of contact details. On top of the hover cards, we also have a storage facility-wide search bar. So it's similar to kind of searching things in Google, but you can, if you need to just immediately get to a tenant or a lead or a specific storage unit just to follow up the information about it, you can search either just the name of the customer or the number of the storage unit. And then that will just immediately kind of bring up the record with all the relevant information about that customer or unit. So what SuiteSpaces is doing here is just eliminating the need of having to browse through multiple Excel sheets or paperwork or various software systems. But since you have all of these different records and all of these pieces of information interconnected on one interface, and so you can just kind of navigate through all of the information a lot faster.
Okay, that sounds easy enough. Having that facility-wide search bar will definitely allow for more time for users to do other tasks at hand. So what is your take on SuiteSpaces for real estate investors?
Yeah, so for the other side of the coin, I guess, for real estate investors and kind of property management companies in general, they've always kind of had an attraction towards the self-storage industry since it has quite a large income potential due to the kind of low overhead costs and low construction costs compared to the traditional real estate sector. And so SuiteSpaces just provides them with an all-in-one platform based on the cloud that allows them to kind of perform property management if they would like to run it like that. And so they have the option to use features such as plot management and any kind of change management. So maybe change orders or changes in rental or dealing with real estate itself. Field reporting and kind of project management as well. So you have the option to kind of align SuiteSpaces with NetSuite's suite projects, which is essentially kind of job costing, resource allocation, and being able to run these real estate projects within NetSuite.
Okay, so Nick, when it comes to accessibility, how does SuiteSpaces cater to this? We briefly touched on this topic, but can you go more into detail?
Of course, yeah. So for the tenants, there is actually a kind of online tenant access for them to just improve the overall customer experience when using SuiteSpaces. So what this allows you to do is it can either be just through NetSuite itself, or it can integrated with the an online e-commerce platform. But the solution gives businesses and the tenants an option to have a portal whereby the customer can log in and view all of their relevant information. So being able to see their rental units, how long they have them rented out for, any kind of overdue invoices or payments that need to be made. And from the internal side, the facility manager would be able to have the option to see exactly the same data and be able to follow up in the same way.
Yeah, so when I go shopping, sometimes I do find myself opting for these self-serve type of services, just because sometimes it'll be a little bit more convenient if I'm in a rush or if the employees are occupied. So I like it when businesses do have self-serve portals or self-serve desks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly the same kind of idea. So customers can just rent the units online directly through the portal, provide an electronic signature or an e-sign on there, and just kind of skip the entire install process altogether, as you said, primarily to save time, but especially with how the impact of the pandemic has left the world, you kind of remove or at least greatly reduce the requirement of having in-store personnel altogether. And so you can just improve the overall customer experience throughout the whole process of the self-storage industry.
Yes, I do love when companies provide that online services like that. Of course, here we are referring more to the in-store experience. Well, what else is there for SuiteSpaces that you can tell us?
Sure. Yeah. So some other things I haven't mentioned would be the integrated priority list management. So facility managers are obviously dealing with a lot of different parts of the facility at the same time. So with SuiteSpaces, users are actually have the function to create and set up priority lists in order to help work through your day and your tasks a lot easier. Now, these priority lists can be set up to trigger notifications whenever an action is either set or completed. And these notifications can be then kind of forwarded on or sent out to the relevant teams working on that area of the business. So for example, the sales team can be notified whenever a storage facility is about to become available for renting out again, and then kind of prepare the next lead or the next online application to be kind of pushed into that next vacant area or rental unit. As I've mentioned, we can completely customize or align these notifications and these triggers to be tailored as per the business needs of any company. But there's quite a few examples of this being used. So reminders to collect customer payments, both to the billing team and to customers themselves. Reminders or notifications being sent out to a cleaning team after a space has been vacated. The list goes on, but there's quite a few things that they can set up the priority list for. And the SuiteSpaces solution altogether kind of uses a lot of the standard NetSuite functionality. So we can go ahead and use kind of take advantage of the roles and the permissions that NetSuite has to be able to kind of define the specific users that are going to be able to have access to these functionalities and be able to give the right departments the right permissions to use certain parts of the solution.
Okay, so you briefly spoke about mobile accessibility and compatibility. Can you touch on the details of that?
Yeah, so as mentioned before, the SuiteSpaces solution provides a completely modern experience in terms of being able to be run on not only the desktop or a computer, but you can actually also run it on a cell phone or a tablet as well. And so everything is run on the cloud. So as long as any employee or any customer has their login into and internet access, of course, they can easily get into NetSuite and our SuiteSpaces solution to be able to view all of the information they need to at any time. So whether it's looking at the rental units or if it's looking to complete any kind of payments or any reporting.
Okay. So now that we know that SuiteSpaces provides a wide range of functionalities to handle the storage industry, we'll now dive into understanding a little bit about how these features will help a manager to plan out their day in a facility. So our experts understand that every storage facility manager has to juggle between a lot of roles to provide a leading customer service experience. So some of these major work functions of a facility manager often involve renting available units, lead management, assisting current tenants, complaint resolution, and much more. And that's how the SuiteSpaces solution was created. So by keeping the problems of a facility manager in mind, we will go through a rundown of the day-to-day operations of the business and what a facility manager has to deal with. Nick, can you showcase how this might look?
That's not a problem, Tamara. So as you can see, this is the NetSuite SuiteSpaces instance. So when you first come into the system, facility manager will log into NetSuite and have a dashboard like so. And this comes fully equipped with a set of kind of portlets and KPIs and reports that are very intuitive for the facility manager and just give them a quick overview of the information that they need to see. And it represents all of this data in real time live. So what you can see here is we have some reminders, some reports about the facility performance, the breakdown of the employees in the facilities, sales trends, sales based on the type of fee being sold, for example. as well as KPI meters. So there's a number of other KPIs that can also be added to this dashboard. For today's webinar, we've kept it lower in terms of the number of KPIs, purely so that it looks cleaner and being able to show every functionality that we have on the dashboard. But there are a number of other KPIs and trend graphs that are also available with the SuiteSpaces solution. So once the facility manager has had an overview of their dashboard and kind of got up to speed with where they are on that point in time, they then have the opportunity to come into their task list and set their priorities for the day. So here they can create a scheduled maintenance list that can help them just kind of set up tasks to be achieved on that day. These tasks will also have notifications be sent out. So if I go into the setup of the task lists themselves, here I can make a new task list for today. And here we can see that the date and the employee get automatically selected. We can input a task, so customer statuses, for example. I can either assign this to a specific team within my company, so maybe this may be relating to the sales team, or I can send it to a specific employee if I want to as well, so Alex Smith. And then I can choose if I want this notification to be sent out to either the employee or the sales team or both. And that is how I would go about creating my task list for the day. But on the dashboard we had beforehand, you can see that we have the task list. And if I go into here, it just brings up today's current task list, which has already been prepared in advance. Okay. So it just gives, and the notifications get sent out both as reminders and as emails, or either of the two, depending on the preference, to notify the employee or the team.
So what about when it comes to glancing at storage unit information on the facility maps itself?
So going back to the main dashboard, here, we can see that the facility map is also on here. So the employee I'm in has actually got a location role set to them. So the facility map just filters to their location. So on here, we can see the facility map and its color coding system. So we can see that the yellow is pending, the red is booked, and blue is available. It's not on the legend, but we also have some green ones here, which are for units that have been recently vacated today. So they kind of need their status updating. So, and then what happens here is, in terms of customer information, it's possible for the facility manager to hover over a icon, and then they will have a hover card that shows the information about the customer details and the renting information of this unit. So for example, if I hover over a booked one, it will look like so. Now the information on these hover cards can be completely customized to be whatever the preference is internally for what should be showed here. Typically you would have customer name, start date, and potentially next bill date. So it's possible for the facility manager to take advantage of the NetSuite global search and come in here and just search for any record they want to. The SuiteSpaces allows the facility manager to either search for a specific unit, a customer, a tenant, or a prospect, or even any of the transactional records, so a specific invoice or a quote. So for example, we have Jane Morrison in here. So I can either just search Jane, and that will give me the results of all Janes in the system, or I can search her number. So here I can kind of go into Jane Morrison prospect record and actually have an overview of her details. So it will just take me through her primary information, any contact details she may have, and what subsidiaries she's typically related to. And then further down here on the sales tab, I do have the ability to have a look at any transactions that we have in process with her. So I can actually see that there is a quote. available for her, and she's requesting a specific sales rental unit. So if I go into this quote, here I can see that this quote has been produced. It's currently just a proposal, sitting at 50% probability. Her expected start date was for the 4th of September. She's looking to rent for 2 to 4 weeks. Her reason for storage is because she's moving property, and she's looking for about a 40 square foot storage unit. And so we then have our rental item attached, and the estimated amount for this quote has been sent out to her.
This type of search bar is really convenient for facility managers. And how about when it comes to making the payments? Can you show us how a facility manager can process customer payments?
So it's when you have an invoice for a customer, it's possible for the facility manager to take the payment of the invoice directly through the invoice itself with the accept payment button. Otherwise, it's also possible directly from the customer record itself to actually accept a customer payment and then assign it to this specific invoice. So the payments from tenants and customers can be processed securely with SuiteSpaces. So it can either be done through NetSuite using these buttons as I've just displayed. However, there is also the option to set up a online payment method, which uses a secure customer gateway for allowing credit card payments. There's also an option to do payment through EFT or a bank transfer as well. So there are a number of ways which facility managers can quickly pay their invoices and make sure that the customers are up to date with their balance and making sure that payments are achieved on time. So it's possible for the facility manager also to move out and vacate rental unit spaces quite easily. They can either do this through the customer record, which we were previously just on. Otherwise, they can come into their site functions and have a look at the back end of the facility map, which gives me a full list of all the storage units that are being rented at this point in time. So if I come into this storage unit, for example, and here I have this move out button. So as I move this customer out of their storage unit, what it will do is send out notifications to the customer and to the various teams of the tasks that are to be processed. So for example, the inspection team will be notified that there's a storage unit that's about to be vacated, and they should go around at 5 o'clock and make sure it has been vacated. The sales team to follow up on any overdue invoices with the customer, and the cleaning team to let them know that this storage unit will require cleaning at the end of today. The booking status also gets updated to be inspected, and that's so that the inspection team will then receive that in their reminders portlet on their dashboard. So this just makes it very easy for the, once the customer has confirmed that they're going to vacate the facility manager can then just quickly convert the business unit to become available and ready to be rented again.
Okay, now that we know how easy renting and vacating units can be and processed on SuiteSpaces, can you go on to show us the lead management and the CRM aspect of SuiteSpaces?
So yeah, Tamara, there's a way for the facility manager to also see the estimates and quotes and all of their lead management and CRM side of the system. So for example, if I come into relationships here, I have immediate access to my prospects, my leads, and my customers. Additionally, under financials, I do have access to the quotes that have been created, as well as any financial reports here. So this kind of booking tab is specifically for SuiteSpaces, and all of these functions are relating to the SuiteSpaces module. So I also have the option of going back to the booking overview, the main dashboard. And from here, I also do have quick links inside of the reminders portlet to just go to immediate bills or quotes. So in terms of lead management, I can come in here, have a look at my open quotes. So for example, if we go into Jane Morrison's quote, here I can see that she's got put our start date and our facility size. All of the booking details are in here. And this kind of comes in from the facility map that's on the customer side. And so there's the option to then kind of review this and move it to a sales order or an invoice. And so this kind of just gives the facility manager to be able to access and view all of the lead information and view what kind of details that they are looking to obtain, or what kind of rental unit they're wanting to obtain from their details. And we can see that this helps the manager identify any upsell or cross-sell opportunities, along with the best possible unit and the best price, in order to maintain kind of customer satisfaction in terms of being able to meet their requirements in a timely manner.
Okay, well, it sounds like this lead management function would definitely be handy for facility managers in order to meet their business goals and objectives. And then along with having that CRM module that will further support the business. I'm happy to hear that SuiteSpaces is equipped with these functions that will elevate and create a seamless, holistic solution for the self-storage industry. So it seems like the facility manager has plenty of tasks to look over, so I'm glad that there's a solution for them to help them manage and coordinate their businesses with SuiteSpaces. I can only imagine the time and money that gets saved after an implementation with SuiteSpaces, because not only does the facility save on costly IT maintenance by eliminating redundant softwares, but they also save time with process automations. Now, in the next section of the webinar, I want to kind of touch up and brush up on some of the crucial benefits of SuiteSpaces that Nick touched on. So let's summarize. With SuiteSpaces, we have a streamlined and easy user interface. So all processes and work is streamlined, and it saves time because every user operates on that same database. So they're all exchanging the same documents between departments, and users can ensure that everyone in the business has that same data and is working with the same data. This is also 100% cloud-based. So SuiteSpaces operates entirely on the cloud, which makes it easy for users to access their company files very securely. And because of the cloud computing, business can save money because they don't need to worry about the costly on-premise softwares that are known to demand maintenance every now and then. SuiteSpaces also comes equipped with a robust online customer self-serve portal, which will help customers to manage their online profiles. And the customers also have the ability to pay for their invoices online. SuiteSpaces customer user interface is also very modern, so it can be created to match your brand's personality with ease. Now, all these functions, there is one that stands out a little bit and is the strongest, which is real-time reporting. The system can generate real-time reports for single or multiple storage facilities across multiple locations and countries. Users can also generate detailed reports spanning across total sales, rented units, number of tenants, profitability, and more. And this type of information is usually used to set up things like new unit pricing and profit comparison. SuiteSpaces cloud-based self-storage software consists of an easy-to-use user interface, which can be mastered by anyone within the storage industry. ERP Buddies has a dedicated support team to ensure your team has optimal product knowledge, and we also provide a 24/7 case resolution guarantee. Your issues will always be answered, so there's no need to worry about that. Our team is always available for you to ensure that the storage facility is always operating at full top speed. So when it comes to operating a business, there are many tasks to take care of. It's almost as if us as human beings are trying to operate as if we had 8 limbs like an octopus. So why do we stretch ourselves to do so many processes and use so many different systems when we can automate tasks and compile our business needs all on one platform? The SuiteSpaces self-storage solution was created by keeping the issues of the storage industry in mind and to aid in operating businesses. ERP Buddies experts have years of experience in developing accurate solutions for every industry vertical. Additional functionalities can also be added and modified because the solution is fully customizable and scalable at any point in time. Some additional capabilities of customizations can include adding custom roles, permissions, and creating new workflows. So as you can see, storage companies are going to benefit with the SuiteSpaces implementation. If you would like to see this product in all its glory, make sure to contact us and we can gladly offer a product demo and a free consultation with our experts. To access our SuiteSpaces white paper, we request you to fill out our Contact Us page with the subject line Request for SuiteSpaces white paper, and our account executives will get back to you right away. Our experts will also look into your system, make suggestions, provide a solution that keeps you ready for the future and any ventures 10 plus years from now. Now, with that being said, thank you, Nick, for taking time out of your busy day to join us today.
That's not a problem, Tamara. Thank you for having me on the call.
Yeah, awesome. And I'd also like to thank everyone for tuning in and learning about our SuiteSpaces solution. If this topic interests you further, we will include links to our blog and website, as well as links to our social pages and how you can contact us. Until next time.